Never come up again. I mean, the Sora is half baked. It's already there. The content's already there.
Yeah, they didn't fully bake that enamel pin.
No, they did not. It needs to go back. No, Brant, this individual that would come by the games in my store, he was like big into this. He had this one car and he would buy parts for this car and was just like totally into this retro car for a long time. And then he wanted a girlfriend for like years and years and years. Didn't he end up with like 5 or 6 kids? He's got a shit ton of kids. Yeah.
Wow.
Wild madness. But he was a good regular. Like I had a stable of regular people that would come and just hang out and talk games, and they'd be there for midnight launches. I can't remember if he got the DS Lite, if he was part of the DS Lite thing or not. I need to put that on my CV. I led all GameStop stores and returns on the release of the DS Lite. That's like a claim to fame of mine. There's nobody else in the country that outdid me on returns.
They were coming for you, man.
No. It was just a phone call. That's it. And there was never any follow up. It was just a phone call, and I told them how we had treated our people and told them based off the warranty.
Oh, it was just a culture clash, right? That's all it was. Like, we don't do that. I mean, at Funko Stop.
Okay, thanks. What am I supposed to do? I wasn't going to turn away all these people.
Should have communicated that before I did it.
Maybe send out a memo next time.
So I can sell the warranties properly the first time.
TPS report. Or let me know I have to self-report. I've not gotten a Twitch notification. I'm trying to chill and wait.
No, it's on there.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you streamed earlier.
Yeah, it tends to hit or miss after you.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah.
So people are potentially not going to get a notification.
Possibly.
That's not good.
Time travelers.
Are we echoing?
Somebody's got their nose up.
No, I think we're echoing on the whole thing.
I hear it through somebody else.
Oh, you think it's bouncing back? When you listen, you don't hear an echo.
Let me turn it on.
I
hear it. Oh, Jesus.
Is it echoing?
Yeah.
Badly.
It might be the desktop audio you enabled. You need to disable it.
Let's try that. I'm hoping that's it.
It's the only change you made.
Yes. Yep, I gotta re-disable that. You're absolutely right. Disabled. Apply. Okay. All right. After I set apply, okay. Everybody, give me some audio. I think we'll be good. Come on, Brant. Brant's muted. Brant assumes if we're not echoing after this that we're all good. Desktop audio. That's fucking crazy. That makes sense though, because it's doubling up those audio sources.
I think it's good now.
Okay. Renee, let me know if you hear us echoing. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know.
Brant was confirming on his end.
Brant reconfirmed. Man, we had whole shows where we just like told people to deal with that. Like, we can't figure it out. Just go with it. Our Skype recording is fine.
Yeah.
Doing Stairway to Heaven. Perfect. Renee says
no
sing.
Stairway. Denied.
Are we good? Renee, let me know if we're good. I'm doing stimulant depressant currently.
Cocaine and what else?
Brand, are you aware of the rest of this logo and
shitty walk?
Yes.
So
Renee says you don't sound echoing. Thank you, Renee.
Richard, about this time travelers, my favorite subject, which is anything with time fuckery.
Yeah.
And they got a phone number on the back you can call for information.
Does it work? Is it valid?
It's a Japanese number. I don't know. It's gonna be overseas for me. It's a Japanese game.
What are you afraid of? Long distance charges?
I am.
Is that still a thing?
That is still a thing.
Phone call to Japan will cost you more money. Use our Google Voice number.
That would be the difference.
Take it from the Patreon funds. We have a Google Voice number now, lads. You can use that if you want to.
Oh.
Yeah, we do. When we talked about straightening out all the two-factor stuff and we never... No, Cesar did it. Cesar did it from desktop, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. We don't have to two-factor with my phone number. It'll go to our email?
No, I have to push it through, before we do it.
Oh, okay.
I just did it on mine to confirm.
Okay.
So, like my personal account. But yeah, I didn't because I think Authenticator you can do up to 3 separate sign-ins at a time, so it should count.
Hey, there's 3 of us.
We would all get the push notification at the same time, but instead of like,
do we all have to authenticate it, or just one of the 3 of us?
Just one.
Okay.
We just have the ability to do so. So
yeah, that's fine.
We don't have to rely on somebody.
Right. That way it's not sent on me. And I'm at a party and had no clue what was happening. That was my fault.
That was funny to me as I set it off 85 times.
I didn't get them in real time, though. I don't know what happened. I should have. 8:30, you guys ready?
Let's go.
Hit record so I don't have to fuck around with this
Let's
bullshit
do it.
anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 337 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and two-factor authentication setup podcast. We will walk you through your choice of two-factor either through authenticators. There are various ones. Phone numbers, emails. We can set you up on Duo. Licensed Duo dealer here. What's your guys' preferred two-factor method?
It's a way of life.
Yeah.
I've blocked so many people trying to get in my account with the
It doesn't happen to me often.
authenticator.
Oh.
Somebody, I'll get notifications every so often, and I'll hit deny.
It's better to have it.
I usually get one from YouTube, which is a shared account with the missus, and it's like, was this you? Are you signing into YouTube on another computer or TV somewhere? What's happening with this? That's usually what gets me. Tonight's news. PSN down! Exclamation point. Rocksteady going back to Batman. Richard denied another Resistance game? Question mark. Have I been? Since you guys keep trying to get me to play Burning Skies for some ungodly reason. And
hey, it's a Resistance game.
It is a Resistance game. You are not wrong, Cesar.
Is it a good Resistance game? Is a different story, but it's a Resistance game.
True.
I don't think it's horrible. I think some time has since the series is gone, people are like, well, it's a Resistance game. It might not be the best of them, but it is content that we otherwise would not have. Last but not least, today there was a Sony State of Play show, which I finagled OBS to allow me to co-stream. So that is now set up. You guys, we can do, I'm assuming it'll be easy to do the Keeley Awards and whatever other stuff we want to co-host and talk over, which should make that, I guess, for the podcast the next week, that would make that bit a little bit less intense since we've already reviewed it, right? We've already made that content. So anyways, I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, thanks for building the news. This is a ungodly amount of 4 stories of news. We appreciate you compiling this.
I was about to say it may only be 4 stories, but that State of Play was jam-packed.
It was. A lot of new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know we'll get to that, but there's a lot of new stuff in there. Also here, that voice of two-factor authentication concern that you heard was none other than our resident page master, lore master, Cesar Concepcion II. Cesar, welcome.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I was good. I was not born in two-factor. I was molded by it.
Oh, you had to do the voice though at the same time, but then that rolled off.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ordered by the two-factor.
there it is. Not
You
bad at
merely
all.
adopted the two-factor.
Renee says NOFODcast will also talk about who has the best cookies. I think we did that, 2 weeks ago? Richard, you need to play Jurassic Park, the Genesis version. What is this Jurassic Park kick? Renee is all over some Jurassic Park.
Renee has grew up as a child as Jurassic Park is one of his favorite film franchises,
Yes,
and
we all did.
loves all their licensed products.
It is one of the best.
So.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know if I have a copy for the Genesis. I'll look.
He's a huge fan because I remember somebody giving me hell because I bought the Jurassic Park collection, and you were like, is it really that great? And I'm like, a lot of this stuff is childhood stuff that I played. That's why I bought it.
True.
So it's just nostalgia. It's like my Bill and Ted that you also give me hell about. You're like, I was like, I played a lot of
fucking
Bill and Ted
JLN
as a kid, so like, it's something I could pull out. Like, I played this piece of shit. Do I know it's a piece of shit? Yeah. But I played it.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I think Toy Story was that for me. I understand what you're saying. If there was a Toy Story collection that included that Game Boy one, I'd probably be all over it. I had that thing circled in the wish book from my grandmother. Like, this is what I want. I circled it in the wish book. It's pretty much official.
So I think what Renee's referring to is, I think at some point I want to say his brother Mike had the Genesis, and he had the Genesis version, and then that my brother had the Super Nintendo one, and how greatly different they were. So
they're totally different games. Are they both on that collection?
They are, and I think we preferred the Genesis one because of the more side-scrolling versus the
top-down
RPG aspects. Yeah,
but that had like a Mode 7 part in it, right? I was watching. I don't know how I stumbled on this. I was watching a stream within the past week or two, and there was a Mode 7 Jurassic Park, like Wolfenstein almost, shooter part in that Super Nintendo one. I was like, I do not recall any of that part. I probably didn't make it that far.
I don't think any of us did.
You're not wrong.
I remember more of the Genesis game than I did of the Super Nintendo one. So.
And they're both on that Jurassic Park collection.
They are. Yeah.
Maybe I jumped. Okay, the majority of my criticism of these collections is the source of the source of producing them. Right? I don't like the artificial FOMO that this company creates.
Yeah.
Especially when they eventually come to, seems like Best Buy and Amazon are their preferred retailers. They eventually come.
The Jurassic Park, I think, is right now you can get that if it's still available on Amazon.
Alternate storefronts.
Yeah, you're not paying $60. You're paying what they sold for $39.99. So
alternate storefronts,
or you can get it off alternate storefronts.
I'm okay with buying a legitimate copy of the Jurassic Park collection.
I'm okay buying. I mean, the Switch one is on sale for $29. I'm okay hitting the PS5 one if it hits like $20. If it never does, I'm okay not owning the PS5.
Do they run okay on Switch? Is that the one you got?
Yeah, I mean they're just emulated Game Boy, Sega Genesis, and Super Nintendo games. So it's not like it's gonna push the hardware. They're bad emulators because it's running in their Carbon engine. So.
I was about to say I'll give it to limited run. They have that stuff running in the right. The Carbon engine is. Who has Kex? Is that Night Dive has the Kex engine?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I think they're going to start building that thing out. I think we're going to start seeing more stuff in the Kex engine.
I've been buying a lot of like physical copies of their first-person shooters in the Kex engine, which they've been doing a lot of these old PC first-person shooters that haven't seen a lot of day. So like my copy of PO just came in on Switch. I went ahead and bought that one. So
I need to get I saw it was like $8 on Steam, that Power Slave Exhumed, like I think we got it as Exhumed, and I think in Europe it was Power Slave. But they did the Lord's work.
Sega Saturn and PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a combination of the PlayStation and the Saturn ones. It's like the unique traits from both of those, and $8, man. I think I need to support that one. They do good
Apparently,
work.
Friend of the show, Mark's Knight is calling for aid.
What aid does he need? Democracy?
Absolutely.
He was informed. He joined me in the chat for the ride along at the State of Play. But I'm pretty sure he was aware that there was going to be recording tonight. You
should take a photo of this and send it to him in the group chat. The screen.
He could always join. No one has ever been told. No one has ever been told do not participate in this podcast.
We know he's noted before, like it always says, highway 81 streaming. Highway, not no podcast. Highway 81 streaming.
I don't know if that was from Xbox or PlayStation or what that whole deal was, but that was a clusterfuck. So I'm not even sure. Renee says I'm gonna buy on. I don't know. I played the handheld version when the movie came out. So Game Boy, Game Boy copy. My stepbrother
Has
had
to be.
the
I don't
Game
remember
Boy
him.
one.
I don't remember him having anything outside of a Game Boy.
Did it come out on Game Gear?
Maybe.
Is there a Game Gear Jurassic Park? What all's on that collection? How did this turn? Renee did this to us. How did this turn into the Jurassic Park
I've looked at that
preservation
collection
thing?
so many damn times.
So there's 7 games, right?
There we go.
And-
Cesar's got the answer for us.
I don't, because it just shows us the photos of the 7 games, and I actually not list them on the Amazon listing,
Oh,
which
God.
does not help me at this time.
That is useless information.
It's like, all the games are questionable when there's 7 of them on here.
Aren't we supposed to get a
just-
Jurassic Park first-person adventure like it did when that announced?
Yes.
Some sort of.
Yeah. It's been announced a while back. It just says Jurassic Park 8-bit, portable, 16-bit, and Genesis. Jurassic Park Part 2, The Chaos Continues, 16-bit and portable. I don't know why they don't list
Why
the
didn't they
consoles.
count? Yeah, why didn't they count?
and-
Okay.
Jurassic Park Rampage Edition, which they put Genesis. They only listed Genesis ones, but I'm assuming 16-bit is Super Nintendo, 8-bit is NES, and then portable is the GBC. So
And it does not include Lost World from PlayStation and Saturn, right? The one where Jeff Goldblum yells at you at the end to
That
go
is-
outside and stop playing video games.
that is correct.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the 3D ones are on there yet. So
That was a 3D game, wasn't it? I was trying to think. Lost World was kind of a... No, I'm thinking of Trespasser. That's 2 straight weeks of Jurassic Park
Alright.
Trespasser referencing.
now, unless Renee's referring to the little handheld tiger ones, is the only thing I can think of.
Oh my god,
Jurassic
I
Park.
had that one.
Jurassic Park
Pure
8-bit,
shit.
NES. Jurassic Park Portable for the Game Boy. Jurassic Park. It says 16-bit. That's the SNES version, and then the Genesis version. Jurassic Park 2. The
Dang.
Chaos Continues. There's the SNES version and also the Game Boy version, or last but not least, the Jurassic Park Rampage Edition for the Genesis.
So the confusion is that Sega allowed them to say this is Jurassic Park for the Genesis, and Nintendo did not allow them to say Jurassic Park for Super Nintendo. They put 16-bit.
Mhm.
I'm like, damn, why is the Genesis catching shade? But that's all that comes down to.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, Jurassic Park lore. What's the best Jurassic Park game? Like, what is the best considered? Is it the Telltale series or the Builder? I've got that expensive
it's,
Builder game for
War-
Xbox.
The one I had the most fun with was the Warpath, the fighting game.
Warpath was good. I didn't hate Warpath. I
Mhm.
thought it was pretty cool. Dinos fighting each other. It was better than
Yeah,
that
the-
Star Wars fighting game.
Then you had the 76 gas station was one of the stages. Remember that?
Yeah. I think I have Warpath.
That's the last time you seen a 76 gas station.
Was it Phillips 76?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does Baby Brand even know what Phillips 76 gas station is?
Yes,
Saw it
I'm
in a
aware of
movie
the
one
76
time.
Gashers. There's one in the Joys of Love.
Oh. I too love joy and joy. I have a joy of love.
It's across from a Dollar General.
I went to school with a Hope Lovejoy. I wonder what she's up to.
Really?
Interesting combination of 3 traits, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into this news. PSN down. And then I click the link. It says PSN is back. This comes from
Yay!
Andy Robin. That was fast. Way to go. Way to go,
Yay.
PSN.
Yay!
You're pissing. Renee says he hated the Telltale version of Jurassic Park. As soon as I said that, I remembered it being a weird... It's glitchy or something. There's issues with it. It's not a usual Telltale joint. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC, which is VideoGamesChronicle.com. PSN is back. Sony apologizes with PlayStation Plus gift to players. Awesome. We get to pick our 6 games we get. We're going to get Infamous. We're going to get Little Big Planet Karting. We're going to get Little Big Planet PSP. We're going to get Gran Turismo for PSP. I don't think it's that serious. After nearly 24 hours of downtime, PS5's PSN online service was restored on Saturday, and Sony has apologized with a free gift to players. Network services have fully recovered from an operational issue, the company wrote in a statement. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank the community for their patience. All PlayStation Plus members will automatically receive an additional 5 days of service. Gentlemen, how will you spend your 5 days of service? PlayStation Network. Reports of PSN going offline started appearing in the early hours of Saturday morning, and Sony reported the issue had been resolved at nearly midnight. This happens, blah, blah, blah. PlayStation will then warn players that the game will close after 15 minutes due to being unable to verify the license for the game. I was listening to another show that also talked about this, and they did not have any issues playing back their digital stuff. So it seems like maybe the DRM part was okay.
You have to enable that. You have to enable the option for offline play. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to do that on a personal level in the PlayStation.
And it turns it off.
Oh, is that like set in the primary console type thing?
Okay. It turns it off if you have console sharing. Then you cannot have it enabled for offline. So.
Okay. Which is fine. Do your quick check. That's okay. Our switches in the household are like that because they're all tied to my account. So it's like checking to see if this content can be played. Just because it's like the kids' ones aren't the primary ones. I was not affected. I was not in need of PlayStation Play at this time. Were you guys? How do you guys remember the great PSN outage of 2025?
Oh,
Brant.
It was told to me.
Brant suffered.
It was told to me on social media. That was how
suffered
I remember
so
it.
much.
Yeah.
You lived it through other people's agony.
I opened up social media like, oh, this thing's down. I was like, all right, cool, and I just did other things.
Moved on, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to fire up the PS5 anyway, so I was like, all right, whatever.
We do have other options, it's not our only thing. Like if my kids couldn't authenticate with some sort of Minecraft server, I could see it being a big deal in this household.
It does suck for those people that could not play their digital licenses.
It is booty hole. Yep.
Also, there were several people, or at least one specifically, that was posting about how, yes, if you're trying to connect a disk drive to your PlayStation and the network is down, then you cannot do so to even play your physical games.
That was a good test. Somebody did the Lord's work by turning their PlayStation offline and attempting to do that at that time.
Yeah, they unpaired it and then try to repair it, and that's what they got.
It's crazy. It's weird it doesn't write to like some EEPROM or something in there saying, hey, here's a temporary handshake. If all else goes to shit, these at least at one point had a handshake.
Probably should, right? Keep a list of serial numbers. Like, all right, you registered this one CD drive, you should be able to use it at all times unless you can't register another one. But I mean, they fixed that C-bomb stuff on the PS4 and PS5, so maybe that's something they'll address in the future.
Patch out. Or like how back in the day we could have 5 registered PS3s, I think, and now it's down to 2.
Yeah.
And you can swap them twice every year. I think it is still 5. Maybe the total number is right. It's the number of swaps has dwindled down to 2. But if you had something like that and it's like, okay, within a window you can only do these 5, and that way you're not just doing, I don't even know what the advantage of that would be, but
it was that was like one of the things. I mean, nobody, I don't know, somebody had 5 PS3s was pretty wild, but back in when it was out, now it's probably not that big of a deal. But I think it was just some people. I think what stopped it was you had that influx of people on eBay. Hey, I bought this general account, and we all pull in and buy these games, and then we all 5 share this, and that's what the advertisement of that is what led to the bonking of that feature.
That makes sense. Going back to the disk drive, Cesar, you couldn't let's say you were flipping these because they're still not easy to come by, from my understanding. You couldn't image these, right, and then ship them out. It's not it's authenticating with that console. It's not like you can just say, hey, it put some firmware on there, and then you can just send them out, and those would be available. Maybe not for a reseller standpoint, but like a preservation thing. Like if you were to stock up on 2 or 3, and then it doesn't work that way, right? It has to be plugged into the console, and
it has to. I think it's the way it's designed. Is like if I had a console with the disk drive that you can take, pop out. I could sell that disk drive at some point and sell it to somebody else, and as long as they can authenticate it, and it's not like, oh, this disk drive's registered to a previous user, you can't use this. It can only be used on this one console. So it doesn't seem like it does that, but it has to authenticate for whatever reason that
Yeah.
tied to a console.
And on that point, it won't work on that new user system just because you had it work before, right? That's not how it.
Correct. Yeah. You have to authenticate.
That's
You have to
wild.
connect online and to authenticate it. Yeah.
That's wild.
So-
Think if they did that with like PlayStation VR or a Move controller or just all the other peripherals they've released over the years. That's kind of a
controller, a remote, like you said,
it's
anything.
an accessory.
Yeah.
Hell, it costs about. I mean, a controller, a DualSense costs like about as much as that damn disk drive.
I don't know if it's because it connects directly to the motherboard and it authenticates that way. It doesn't find a loophole where somebody can connect another device in there and somehow find
What
their
is
way
that
into
for?
that closed environment.
So is that some sort of a Blu-ray regulation? You know how the PS3 gets firmware updates, and it's like re-updating that Blu-ray firmware to play discs and stuff. Still,
Could be. Yeah.
that's just fucking weird. You would think that there would be no barrier on that because if I'm buying a disc drive, you would think the company would not want any sort of barrier between me and purchasing more discs for said disc drive, right? I've got the Razor. Why would you potentially put something in my way of buying more razor blades at a rapid pace?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's not involved, man, because there's like now in this market for discs, we used to have what regions, and now UHD is region free, so I can buy a UHD of Terminator 2 from France and it'll play in my player. It's not like how we had to sit there and look at region B or region 3, and you can only play DVDs in region 3 or region B, and it's now UHDs are all they know that the days are numbered on physical media, so none of those are region locked. So it's like the restrictions on a lot of these discs are starting to dissipate. So
makes sense. Next up in news, also from VGC, VideoGamesChronicle.com, and Jordan Midler, Rocksteady is back working on a single-player Batman game. It's claimed. Brant.
Jordan Midler, not the Riddler.
Oh, Jordan Riddler, even better. Brant, you gonna jump back into your Batman marathon? You played through all of them, didn't you? I know you went through the first two.
Majority.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're good. You're talking about Batman.
I can go ahead and talk about this, but according to Bloomberg, as part of a report explaining what each Warner Brothers game studio is currently working on, which there were some interesting things about, like a Flash game that got dropped.
Flash game. What year is it?
Wonder Woman got redone from scratch or something like that.
Yeah.
A Flash game like the character. I'm like, Flash games. What year is it? What Flash game got canceled in 2020?
The fastest man alive, Flash. Flash.
Oh man. Flash games. The Flash game
games.
genre.
No. But this was specifically referring to what Rocksteady is working on, and it's currently claimed that the studio is going to go back to its roots with the Batman license. Rocksteady is looking to return to Batman for a single-player game, according to people familiar with the timeline. The new project is years away from landing, obviously. I think the rest of this article goes into what just recently happened. Yeah, that's talking about, of course, they just suffered some layoffs after the whole Kill the Justice League, their last game, not necessarily doing very well. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to see a semi return to form. I wouldn't necessarily say it needs to be another Arkham game, but obviously that formula works. It's something people want because that new game on Oculus is supposed to be really good.
I've heard it's
and it kind of
good.
Yeah, it kind of has that same. I've seen a lot of stuff, clips and things from it. It looks like it kind of has that same Arkham combat.
Is it only on Oculus? Was that Oculus Studio developed?
Oh,
so maybe a 1 year?
Not know.
Maybe a 1 year deal?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a timed exclusive thing, because I'd love to see that on everything else.
Yeah, you guys have very capable headsets that could play that. But that's the killer app right now for the Quest 3, right?
Yeah.
And that Quest 3S. I think that game's coming with all of them. I need to see if it plays on the 2 and if there's any codes out there floating around from all those holiday bundles.
Heck yeah.
Draw some Batman. Is it time for an Arkham remaster? We're going to talk about another remaster coming up that I'm not quite sure needed that quick of a turnaround.
Well, I mean, Sony's been doing that quite frequently with remasters of games that were.
Yeah, they have.
I don't know why. I don't know why we're not remastering PS1 games or PS2 games as much anymore.
Yeah.
Instead, we're just grabbing stuff that was from the PS4 era. But
I mean, that's what Shuhei said, right? It was easier for them to do this, so
yeah.
and they see it as a boost to profit newer games. So take it for what you will.
Obviously, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but it's funny that we told the studio no on a sequel, yes on a re-release.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, man, you never know if this remaster somehow does well. Sony Bend doesn't have their their gas game anymore, so they haven't started on anything.
Yeah.
You never know, they could. Hey, let's go back. It's gone too,
No, those days are gone.
Dropping back to Rocksteady doing a new Batman. It's being reported. I like to see. I got to get these thoughts out the right way. I have enjoyed in the past when a studio learns maybe a new generation or a new engine by remaking that title. So like Gears of War Ultimate that Cesar and I played through in one sitting, and the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. Like they took some artistic liberties with that Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. There's pros and cons. But you cannot say that is not a gorgeous game compared to that first Xbox title. They just added so much on the 360. And we're far enough away from Arkham Asylum. I mean, they came out with that Return to Arkham collection.
They did the Return to Arkham.
But that's not those aren't super fondly looked upon. That was the Chinese studio, right? The Final Fantasy X port
Virtuos.
Yeah.
And then they upgraded from Unreal Engine 3 to 4, and it wasn't very clean. So
right. I mean, they're still playable. They're still fantastic games, but to see like a ground up, maybe almost like a Metroid Prime remaster, like a job that was it Iron Galaxy that worked on that one. Was that Virtuos that worked on Metroid Prime? I think it was Iron Galaxy and somebody. But just a fresh coat of paint with the same bones, But or Super Mario All-Stars, like how we got that on Super Nintendo versus the NES ones, like the 8 to 16-bit. I think that was like one of the first remakes of this ilk. But I think a fully next Unreal Engine 5 Arkham Asylum, where you're loading in those various rooms, it's not having to do a lot of heavy lifting with texture generation from multiple, a wide area and stuff. I think that'd be amazing.
Can't speak for B-Ran here, but it'd be tough without Conroy. So
it would be extremely tough. I mean, they could reuse the voice lines from the original game, obviously.
I think you can use that content. Use that and just, it's not a remake. It's a full-blown remaster with a new engine.
You bring up Conroy, I have to just say that since his passing, he was definitely the Batman that I grew up with, and it was great to have him in these games, and it was kind of disappointing that both of the last games he was able to do, which was the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, didn't do great.
Yeah.
And then the other one that he did voice lines for was that WB game, the one we just talked about last week that's closing down.
Multiverses?
Multiverses, yeah.
Well, I mean, you'll be pleased to know that his final voice work all together for Batman was an animated movie. So
yes, that's right.
So he's not Batman in the Oculus one?
No.
Damn.
I don't feel like it was that long ago. I guess it was, though. Not to have that voice work in there. Speaking of Batman voice talent, have y'all seen the Mark Hamill clip going around where he impersonates Harrison Ford?
Yes.
It's fucking spot on. He sounds exactly like Harrison Ford. Oh, I sent it to a friend of the show, Mark's night, and he was like, "Why didn't he play Indiana Jones
Yeah.
in The Great Circle?" That was really good.
Troy Baker did really good,
Yeah,
man.
Troy Baker's
I'll give it to
phenomenal.
him. And on that note as well, Harrison Ford just came out. I think it was earlier this week, or over the weekend, talking about how Harrison Ford doing his voice work shows that actors don't have to sell their soul to AI. Essentially, you can rely on very talented actors to fill these roles and things like that, and find somebody that can do just as good a job. Because Troy Baker did an amazing job. I saw the director of the game when they were looking for somebody to do Indy's voice. He literally was going through hours and hours of footage from movies of Harrison Ford, and then hours and hours through people's auditions. And Troy Baker's was so good, he couldn't tell that it wasn't actually Harrison Ford.
Damn.
So
that is spot on. From a famous voice actor who's voiced plenty other characters too. That's high praise.
Yeah. I don't know if B Rant's going to watch the new Harrison Ford movie coming out this week. So
that's a possibility.
The Marvel
I read the
movie?
review on the new Captain America, and they said it's a 100% Harrison Ford film because the whole film is about Thaddeus Ross, like revenge against him. They said it's a sequel to the original Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, because Liv Tyler reprises her role as Betty.
That's a
the
throwback.
Villain from that villain from not the Abomination, but the leader is the main villain in this film. So they said it's a very much a Incredible Hulk sequel, not a name, and it's mostly, they said Harrison Ford killed that whole movie. They said he did a great job. Thaddeus Ross.
He plays a decent president.
They said he picked up the script and immediately signed without even reading it. And then he was surprised when he was like, wait a minute, I get to be a Hulk? Like, wow. He signed on immediately just because it was a Marvel movie, and he'd seen enough of them and seen enough of the actors he knew having a good time, is what he said, that he was just already immediately on board for that energy and
paychecks.
The paychecks. And
I mean, because I think, this is the beginning of the new Avengers initiative, right? So they're building the new Avengers based off of this movie. You just have to discredit the disjointed Phase 4 the last 3 years where it's all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where I saw we're derailing, but I did see some of the trailers, and the first trailer was like, okay, this looks pretty good, and then I saw another trailer, I'm like,
I like thrillers, man.
This
might as a thriller,
yeah, this may not be as good. And then you heard a bunch of the stuff about reshoots, and then I've seen a couple more trailers. I'm like, okay, well, it looks like it could be pretty good. Plus, it sounds like they're bringing adamantium into it as part of this new movie. So I'm like, okay, they're trying to work in the whole mutant stuff, and so.
Yeah, and before we derail any further, I think I mentioned this to Brant last time. Somebody had mentioned that they wrote an article that whole Marvel Phase 4, they felt like it was like an anime filler season. That's the way they described it. It was like we just watch a bunch of fillers.
Yikes!
Pretty much.
Not any like actual storyline. They just called it a filler.
That's harsh. Harrison Ford is also very good in the Apple TV Plus series, or whatever they call it. Shrinking. He plays
I've heard that.
He is phenomenal. Oh my god, he's so good in that. Also, it's funny hearing him say "fuck" every other sentence, which is fantastic.
I thought you were going to say he also plays a good president. Get off my plane.
Yeah, that's where my previous reference was.
Does he say that in the new movie before he turns into the Red Hulk?
That'd be amazing.
Get off my plane.
That'd be amazing.
Even though they're on the ground.
Yeah, you see Gary Oldman's in the corner. He
says it for no reason.
Random quotes from previous films.
Plane of what? They're like, which plane?
He roars and then says this belongs in a museum or something.
No, the only way it works is if he does movies that are not well known, because then it'd be more funnier to me.
There you go.
Nobody else. Like he's too well known on the Indiana Jones, so he'll probably have to like
deep cut.
You have to do like The Fugitive, like it was a one-armed man, and
Or Witness, something from Witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's Air Force One.
Regarding Henry, wasn't he in Regarding Henry?
That he was also in Working Girl. I think Frantic. Presumed Innocent. Regarding Henry. Yep.
Oh my God, Presumed Innocent. I haven't heard that one in a long time. Blade Runner. I may or may not have drove down a wormhole today looking at widescreen VHS copies of Blade Runner with which to run through a potentially recently acquired VHS player and upscaled through the retro tink onto an OLED. That's the life I'm headed towards. So that's our nods and acceptance.
Hey man, it's you when you do stuff like that, it's fun, right?
Yep, that's the fun in it to me.
That's why you do it.
It is.
Why you do it, right?
It is.
Yep.
Or this plasma would probably look good on this plasma too.
If it's a chore, you wouldn't want to do it if it's a chore. So
no. All right, let's barrel through this news. I hate this one. Jordan Midler again. Jordan the Riddler from VideoGamesChronicle.com. Sony rejected a pitch for Resistance 4, claims Insomniac founder, outgoing Insomniac Games founder and president Ted Price has claimed that Sony rejected a pitch for Resistance 4. That sucks.
You got Ted Price announces his retirement, and now he's like, I'm letting loose with the information. Let's go.
Just like Shuhei, right? Like Shuhei left and started dishing everywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking during an interview with Kinda Funny to celebrate his career at the developer, Price was asked about which game he wished he could have worked on but didn't work out. Price revealed that at one point the studio pitched Sony on a fourth mainline entry in the Resistance franchise. Quote, "It was a wonderful concept. It was the result of a lot of Insomniac Games team members being passionate about extending the story further," said Price. "I do believe that Resistance set up a cool alternate history base where anything can happen with the Chimera and where they go and what their origins are. We spent a lot of time working on backstory and brainstorming on where we could take this in the future. As for why Sony rejected the pitch, Price claims that the, quote, timing and market opportunity, end quote, for the game wasn't right at the time. Since the conclusion of the Resistance franchise in 2011, Insomniac Games has become one of the most prolific studios in Sony's lineup. Blah, blah, blah. 3 Ratchet and Clanks, 3 Marvel Spider-Mans, Sunset Overdrive, and other smaller titles. As of 2025, the Resistance series is largely dormant due to the majority of the games in the series being released on PS3. They currently can't be played on PS5. That's not quite accurate because you can stream them now, right? All 3 of them are on there? Or 2/3 of them? So.
Well, I mean, you can stream them to PS5, but you can't play them natively on the hardware.
That's true.
So,
series was never remastered for PS4 despite years of rumors. In 2022, Days Gone director Jeff Ross claimed that he pitched Sony an open-world revival of the Resistance franchise. This sucks because I just played through all these games and I fucking loved them, and I would have loved to see what a Resistance 4 looks like. You could wrap up all those people's stories and there's still plenty of stuff to tell. Much like Bungie did with ODST and Halo Reach. Like, there's different pockets of this lore where you can tell these tales.
Yeah, because what do we get? We got Resistance Retribution. That was the only one that's playable on PS5 right now, right natively, right?
Yes. Because you can download that and play it through the PSP.
And which
emulator on there?
Yeah. Now, which I've heard on like there's some people that deeply love that game on like PSN profiles.
Yeah.
Because they said like there's literally kind of like those old school ways where you used to play games. Like if you do something different in that game, there's a different ending you get, and you play a completely different storyline. So
yeah, I've heard it's beloved. I have no experience with Resistance Retribution.
Same. Me neither.
I played the Burning Skies demo when it came out on Vita, and that was enough for me.
I also played the Burning Skies, so and I don't think I ever finished it. It was very empty and lifeless,
soulless, right? Yeah. Empty. Yeah, empty is the right term.
You're just walking down a corridor and you encounter some people. Enemies sometimes, and you would shoot them, and it just never felt like the stakes were high enough. So
stakes in it just didn't have that. I mean, those 3 Resistance games, all they told different stories. It was a cohesive story, but they told, it was 3 different flavors of story, and that one just was flavorless. It was not enjoyable. I will probably not be streaming Burning Skies. Renee says waiting for Richard to stream the PSP version. It may happen. I'm kind of Resistanced out. Just like Ted Price, apparently, and Sony. I'm a little Resistance out. But I played them all within like a month and a half. It's been 14 years since we got a new one. All right. Last but not least, we have all the state of play news. How do we want to do this? Because it was kind of a rapid fire. Ooh, Polygon has it in order. Well done, Brant.
Yes.
I'll go through quickly
Thank you,
here
Polygon.
since nobody has. I haven't said anything yet, and everybody else has. This is from Polygon. Thanks to Brant from Nicole Carpenter. This is everything that's announced at the state of play. The first one of the year is Nintendo's Nicole Carpenter brought out. So it started out with a new look at Monster Hunter Wilds, as you got the confirmation that is coming out February 28th, as well as showing off a legacy monster called the Mizutsune.
You can have two weapons now. That's a big deal, apparently, in Monster Hunter.
And as Brent knows, and Richard may or may not, Mizu means water in Japanese, so thus it is a water monster.
I do know this. I'm aware.
But outside of that, we got a new look at, what was it, the Game Awards when they announced that Sega was back?
Yes.
Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and this is being done by the Streets of Rage 4 team. And we got a release date of August 28th.
I love this art style.
It's a full release game, right? Because I think it was priced at $39.99.
Yes.
I think when it's all up there, it's considered a big game. So I guess it would be a double A. I guess in our environment, this is what we refer to.
Yes.
Our resident Monster Hunter fan Murmy is in the chat and says 2 weapons ? Dude. I think Murmy is excited about the 2 weapons.
Murmy, I know we've talked about this before, but I will be purchasing Wild, so you can hit me up on that.
A Monster Hunter stream.
Yes, I can stream that as well. Let's see. Then next up is everybody's favorite franchise, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
This looked good. It looked really good.
It does look really good.
It looked like it looks smooth. It looked like it performs really well.
And they shows vehicles that transform to it's based off this graphic of 4x4. It looks like a weird tractor thing, and it looks like the skateboarding game from the 360, right? Whatever that thing was called. So
kind of like some Mario Kart 7 and 8 bits where the vehicles would change into like a glider or a underwater thing with engines and stuff.
They said there was going to be. Sorry,
is Sumo doing this one? I was wondering that aloud when I was watching the stream.
Don't know. I don't remember seeing a studio on there.
I feel like Sumo's done a bunch of the last ones. Yeah.
Looking at the end of the trailer, it does not show a studio name. It just says Sonic Team. So
I'll see if I can look at that on the side.
Sonic Team.
So you got a closed network test set for February 21st. I think later on they were confirmed somewhere. I don't know if Wario, somebody confirmed it, saying that it would also include other Sega franchises, not just Sonic. Thus the Cross Worlds.
I did see that
and the name in there. So, which will be similar to the other Sonic racing games.
Sonic Team Racing.
We didn't have. We didn't know Cross Worlds was the
Racing Transformed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then, and Richard's favorite main character from Shenmue will be driving his forklift again, so he's excited about that. So.
Cross Worlds is a new subtitle, right? We didn't know that it was called that. We just knew like Sonic Racing is a working title.
I guess the gimmick on there, because they go through these portals that are like based off rings that takes them to different time periods and different worlds and levels. So I don't think Sumo's doing this one. I think it's Team Sonic, so it might be a different feel.
This comes.
I think the Sonic. Go ahead.
Comes from PlayStation Blog. Another highlight of the game is its dynamic tracks, which draw inspiration from past Sonic racing titles, such as Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. Is it? Is it a greatest?
Those are the 2 good ones. Maybe it might use some of those on there, because I think the Sonic Team Racing was not beloved, right? It did not sell well, so I think they're probably trying to get away from that.
I might play this network test. Maybe we should stream some of this, unless it has a weird NDA on it.
I mean, unfortunately, we will not be in town for that day, I think. So.
Oh, this is specifically one day? That's it?
Possibly. Ew. It just says for February 21st.
Gotcha.
We'll have to live vicariously through Brant's interaction.
Brant stream it so we can watch.
Yep. Brant, find Hellrican, stream with him. All right. So outside of that, we got a new look at a newly announced Digimon Story Time Stranger, which oddly enough looked like a Persona game until they started throwing Digimon in there. So this is a new Digimon game. It's expected to come out in 2025, and it across worlds and time itself. So no other details has been announced for it. I think this is coming on PS5, series consoles, and PC. I think the same for Racing as well as Shinobi, and the same for Monster Hunter Wilds. So next up we have the longly made game, Lost Soul Side, which has been in development for like 10 years.
It looks
Yeah.
so good.
Which looks like a little bit like Devil May Cry and Crack, right?
Mhm.
It's like the ability to. There's some. It has a Devil May Cry feel. Let me just put it out there like that. So
Main character has like a dragon Navi character, like talking to him and stuff, following him
that
around.
he can use. It looks like he can transform him to do different abilities and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It looks very interesting. So this is, I think, originally it was developed by one guy, kind of like what was it Thomas Happ was doing for that Metroid type game he was
Axiom
making for a
Verge.
while. Correct. And then Sony provided this creator some assets to make this game. So I think it's finally coming out. I think, what was it, May, Brant? I think it was May. Doesn't have it on this article for whatever
A
reason.
lot of the games they showed are
May 30th.
are soon releases.
It seems like it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Stellar Blade month. It's right. We're in Stellar Blade came out was around that April, May area. Next up, we had Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which I think announces that a demo will go live. That's it, on Friday. That game is released soon. I think it was what, February. It's coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I think it's toward the end of February.
Yeah.
Or it might be within the next couple weeks.
It might be the next couple of days.
Really?
I think because it didn't want to conflict with Monster Hunter, remember, which comes out the 28th.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think this is the 14th. I want to say it's coming out Friday. I think it comes out Friday.
All right.
And also, they announced that Dave the Diver is getting Ichiban Holiday
cool
DLC
crossover.
from Yakuza in that game. All right, go ahead, Richard.
You're
I'm sorry,
good.
you
I have
might
a
add
quick
something.
live update on the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds closed network test. The application period is February 18th, and the network test duration is from February 22nd through February 24th.
Okay.
So it might be a roll of the dice on being able to pull that off.
So we still have to live vicariously.
Most
through
likely.
Brand. All right. We have our yearly update for WWE 2K25.
They made a big deal about this.
It's also, yeah, the Island coming on PS4, PS5 on March 14th. It's what is it? It's WWE 2K. So I mean, I don't know what WWE 2K. I don't know what else more you can add to it. Then we have a quick look for Borderlands 4, which is getting. I think this is the first announced release date, right? September 27th.
Yeah, it had leaked, but this is just pretty much the confirmation.
Randys. There were two Randys on this stream, and they made a big deal about
too many Randys.
Then one had a magic trick with a ping pong ball and did.
When I live streamed this, I did make a joke about adult content in medieval times.
Also applies here. And we have Hazlight Studios, Split Fiction, which is their new game.
This looks amazing.
Joseph,
this looks amazing.
Which looks better and better. He seems to really take his niche in making co-op games and really perfecting them. So each game he does, it looks way better from the last. So, and I don't think is there a release date on there? This was the official story trailer, right? I don't remember seeing a release date.
I'm checking to be released. Oh wait, no.
March 6th.
Yeah,
March
6th.
Yeah. We had a really cool preview of a Dark Pictures game, which is Directive 8020, which is the horror series from Supermassive, since they are no longer making Man
of Medan.
No. The game for the PlayStation they just remade that nobody wanted.
Dead by Daylight.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Until Dawn. I wanted to say Dead by Daylight. I was trying to get somebody.
So if Until Dawn is like the teenagers in the snow cabin trope, this was like an alien, organism taking over a space station, but it looked phenomenal.
Now,
it looked crazy.
Yeah.
The previous Dark Pictures ones I've mentioned before, I played them all, but the Demon Inside, I believe, which was the last one in that first anthology is what they call them. This is a new anthology, which seems like they always have a theme. Like this one seems to be more of a sci-fi-esque, where the other ones were more modern to Earth and Ghost. And I think that last one I enjoyed, what I told you, was very much like I felt like a Predator film. So like this one is more of an alien one. They
have
seem
their homages.
Homages to current, horror stuff. This is what they usually put on there. So this one just says the brave astronauts of the Cassiopeia, who embark on a deadly mission to save humanity, but their ship is infected by alien life form that perfectly imitates its prey. So
yeah,
it's going to release October 2nd, just in time for Brandt's.
It seemed like there was replicating, like they didn't know if a person on the ship with them was actually them or it was that organism that had
kind of like a Body Snatchers, right, and stuff like that.
Looks
There's a little bit of a mixture of a lot of sci-fi space type games. It seems more that versus. I mean, it's still got the horror aspect in there. We have a Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic, which will release on June 13th. I am not an aficionado on Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know if anybody else in this podcast is. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You take it for
I
what it
saw
was.
those animatronics and I was like, this must be a Five Nights at Freddy's thing, and that's all I
Sure.
knew.
Yeah. Next, we got to look at the Midnight Walk, which still looks really awesome.
Yes.
It's coming on PlayStation VR 2. Confirmed release date of May 8th, and it does look handcrafted.
That thing looks amazing.
This is a great looking game.
It almost.
I'm excited about playing.
It almost looks like a weird like clay, Tim Burton-esque thing meets like Metroid, because like he had like that little arm cannon thing, or gun thing that he was like shooting the enemies with, and the way it was just in front of the character and like swaying and sitting there, I'm like, it looks good.
I wondered that as I watched it, because it didn't seem like a Twitch first person shooter. It seemed like an exploratory thing. Like, and there were bits where it seemed like the character was taking fire to various places. Like people are like, oh, we haven't seen fire in so long. And then right after that, he like put the flame down in some other area. Friend of the show, Mark's Knight, said in the chat when we were watching the stream, Tim Burton Nightmare Fuel is the description of the game.
You should ask Mark's Knight if it's going to fit his Hellverse games that he exclusively plays. But
if it's going to fit the Hellverse,
yeah, those are the only games he plays.
Hellverse. So. Only Hell games.
Yeah.
The next game was one of my games of the show. I was laughing the entire time I watched this clip.
Oh, the Darwin's Paradox.
But
so I mean, go ahead. I'll let you take this one.
It's called Darwin's Paradox, and the polygon blip says, "Help Darwin the octopus escape a food factory and get back to the ocean in Darwin's Paradox," which was debuted during the event. So this was announced during this thing. And as I'm watching this, the octopus like creeps around, but he can use his octopus traits. So he can shoot ink at stuff. He can blend into the environment, but it very much like escape a food factory. It very much looked like it plays like Abe's Exodus or Abe's Odyssey. It very much had that tone to it, which those games are awesome, like puzzle platformers, and it's a lot of fun. But the art style was super quirky and cute, and I think this is going to be a winner. I think it's going to be a solid title.
Get it? Konami's
still on fire. It's Konami.
This is a Konami joint?
Yeah.
I missed that. Holy shit. Who's doing this for Konami?
They get back in the games, man. Yeah. So next up we had Warriors Abyss, which launches today. PS4, PS5. I think Steam, I'm assuming is also on the series consoles as well. And this is a roguelike take on the Warriors series.
Hades for Dynasty Warriors, right? Essentially is what it looked like gameplay wise.
And that was out now. And then we had a new look at Onimusha 2, which was just announced. Samurai's Destiny, which will release on May 23rd.
What'd you think of that clip they showed? Because I thought it looked beautiful. But I know you put some good time into that first Onimusha remaster.
So I like me in a personal experience, and I've beat Onimusha on the OG PlayStation 2 and Game of Onimusha. And I think I remember going to Onimusha 2, and I did not like the experience because the protagonist for the first game was not in this one, and it had no tie in relation to the first game. It was just weird out of nowhere. But I pushed myself and went through and played that game, and it's one of my favorite. It might be my favorite.
Onimusha 2.
It's really, really good. Because I mean, after that, you go back to the original protagonist in the third one with the weird Jean Reno crossover thing in France. But outside of that,
I've never played any of those, and I just remember from the PS2 generation, some of those second games, almost like the NES, where you had like Castlevania 2 was totally different, Mario Brothers 2, Zelda 2. The 2s on PS2, Devil May Cry 2, Onimusha 2, I remember them not being as fondly looked after, but hey, you're saying it became your favorite one, so.
I'm like that sometimes, because I mean, Dragon Age 2 is still my favorite Dragon Age, and that's the one a lot of people fucking hate. But neither here and there. So this says it returns with higher resolution graphics, modernized controls to perform Issen's critical counterattacks, which I think was something that they added to the series from this game, because they went a little bit more deeper on the sword play. And then we got a new look at Onimusha Way of the Sword, which is still coming out in the 2026, and the new protagonist Miyamoto Musashi. So
and that looked amazing.
He looks like he's a funny character, man. He was very eccentric and expressive. And
is comedy in that series? Because there was one point where the tone was like super serious, right? And there's a bunch of enemies around him, and he's just like run, and he takes off towards the camera.
I want to say Dawn was a little bit lighthearted compared to the other ones. The other ones were more serious. But yeah, we'll see. It looks interesting. I like the new take on there. And then we got the confirmation of what was leaked previously: Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid
I love this
Delta
game.
Snake Eater will be released on August 28th. And it looks really, really fucking good. I mean, you got more of the game on there, as Richard out here has of his standee back behind him.
Love this game.
And I think we got the confirmation that it's going to be Snake versus, what was it, Monkey, whatever the thing is,
on PlayStation.
I don't know. And for PlayStation and PC.
And PC. I wondered aloud while I was streaming, while I was watching this, like, what's it going to be for Xbox and Switch 2 or whatever?
And then they hinted at Bomberman for Xbox. No confirmation, but it's hinted that based off what he was holding.
Who's that Bomberman? It was definitely Bomberman.
So all they had out there was like, pay attention for the special announcement for the Xbox version. That's all they had. That's what they sold it on. And then what previously leaked before, Hell Is Us, with the confirmation of the September 4th release date, which still looks like Death Stranding.
It was
to me
very Death Stranding-esque.
So, we're not getting we're officially getting a Death Stranding direct next month, and the SX South by Southwest. Yes. So that will be soon, and I'm assuming we're going to release date.
Is that in Texas?
But
is that the Texas show?
So we've got a look at Lies of P Overture. It's a prequel of Lies of P. So it looks like a whole new game. It's not a DLC. This is coming out for PS4 and PS5. I'm assuming on other various consoles.
It's some sort of expansion PC. Or DLC, because it said at the very end you have to have the base game. It said base game required.
Maybe you did. Yeah.
This looks like a whole nother animal. Like, why not release this separately? It looks good though. It's one of the enemies remarked, "You're not the puppet that I thought you were going to be," because it's a different character. It's not Pinocchio, I guess, is who that main character is in the first one. Looks like the dude from Dune.
That's the thing we need to. I don't know. I'll look at that later. So blah 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 blah. All right. Next up is what I thought was a sequel to Dreams. It was not a sequel to Dreams. It's from Pixel Junk. It's Dreams of Another.
This looks incredible. Q Games and Pixel Junk.
It's a game that turns a third-person shooter on its head to build rather than destroy. So I don't know. I mean, it looks very unique.
The main character was using a gun like you'd have in Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever, and was like shooting to create a door, like almost like Splatoon, like shooting the paint at something and filling it in. But it was a door, and then they were able to interact with it after that. But the art style was like a watercolor voxel. Like there was a merry-go-round, and the characters were those like voxel. It was made up of those, and then they like jumped off the merry-go-round, and you saw the voxels move with it, and that art style is incredibly unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But like with a watercolor twist, I want to see more of this one. Dreams of Another looks really, really good. And it's PSVR 2 as well. That was surprising.
Correct. Brant's game of all time, Days Gone.
Take this one, Brant.
Finally getting remastered.
At last. Yeah. You can throw away your copy. Actually, don't.
This is trash.
Actually, don't. You have a path to victory.
Yeah, comes out April 25th, and if you own a previous version, it's $10 to upgrade.
To the digital version.
Brant has 10 copies. Is it $1 to upgrade all of his 10 copies? Each.
Maybe, right?
It should be. Reaches for.
Next we have
for every copy of Days Gone.
Every one of them just a full box. Next we had a new preview of Stellar Blades DLC, Goddess of Victory, Nikkei DLC, which is coming to PlayStation 5 and Windows PC in June. And I think the PC version is being released in June, and it's also being published by PlayStation Publishing.
And I think they were saying they're gearing towards a Steam Deck friendly build. If not verified, then at least playable.
They have said they anticipate that the PC version will be the best-selling version. So my guess is that it will be tailored to almost any device on PC. Is probably what I'm saying. It's probably very optimized to run on pretty much as it can to sell well, if that's what they're going for. Then we had a look at Blueprints, which was an announcement for a genre-bending genre-bending, atmospheric architectural adventure where you explore an ever-changing manor of 45 shifting rooms.
I did not like the look of this. I described it as cel-shaded mist. There's puzzles in every room. There's like obscure shit you have to dive into. It was I got strong Mist vibes from that, and I was like,
I had to see more.
Yeah,
That's
also
for
true.
Me, so I have to see more. That's just me personally. And then you had Abiotic Factor.
This looks like something we
which
would
is,
all play and stream. This looks like pure chaos.
Yeah.
What is that game that Brent, you don't talk about, the one that the streamers were playing? That's what it reminded me of, because I saw it and I was like, is it that?
That horror game that's like $10 on PC.
Something Company. What was
Lethal
it?
Company.
Lethal Company.
Yeah.
Lethal
Yeah,
Company,
it does
yeah.
look a lot like Lethal Company.
I thought it was a Lethal Company announcement because that's what it looks like, but I'm assuming that's probably like what it's
kind of,
the
yeah.
aesthetic is building. It doesn't look like that's what it is, because it doesn't play like that, but it's aesthetic.
It's a mix of stuff. It looked like the crew was trying to build things. It looked like there was a tower defense element. It looked like it said genre twisting. Oh no, that was the one before. That was the Blueprints.
That was your favorite.
Mist. It looked like cel-shaded mist.
Yep. So next up was a really cool looking game, The Tides of Annihilation, which looks awesome. This one is when the streets of London are engulfed by the outworld invasion. The only survivor, Gwendolyn, discovers a mysterious power to command the legendary Knights of the Round Table. Sounds cool. I like it. I love historical stuff we can bend it's like that. So I'm already in. I think this was an announcement. Is there a release date? I couldn't remember if they said it was later this year or.
I couldn't remember this one either. It looked gorgeous though.
Doesn't look like, it doesn't. I remember saying it was, you can wish list it and stuff like that. So nothing yet. Metal Eden was also revealed, which is a fast-paced
also look good
first-person shooter. It's good. Mind's Eye, which I thought could have been made from Quantic Dream.
Yeah,
that looked
crazy.
That looks pretty good. It's AI and human greed collide in Mind's Eye.
This is the one. Go ahead. This is the one I had to look up because Leslie Benzies came out, and I had to remember what Grand Theft Autos he worked on, and he was there from Space Station Silicon Valley on N64 all the way through GTA 5. So,
oh wow,
this is your mastermind. And you saw, like, as the trailer opened up, there was a lot more. There was vehicular stuff. It's gonna be those type missions. This is one to keep an eye on. Mind's Eye.
Looking at this felt like a game that would have came out in the PS2 era with all the stuff you could do on that screen.
It did.
In my opinion, because I felt like that. Damn, this feels like an old school game versus what we usually typically get now when it's cinematic storytelling. So then, last but not least, I remember telling a friend of the show, Renee, here when I saw this, is like, I'm pretty sure this feels like Returnal based on what I looked at. And I said, even though that we saw the name Sorrows come up, it's most definitely feels like it is a sequel to Returnal, because this has been done by House Marquee, and they announced that this was coming in 2026.
Building off the stuff they learned from Returnal and those same systems. Friend of the show, Russell said, I said, wow, this looks like The Order. When he first, like, with the armor and the way he had the medallion coming out of the sand and the gun he pulled out from behind his back and stuff, I was like, it looks like The Order. And Mark Knight put in the chat, The Order 2886. It's like, it's pretty solid. Give us another Order game. They ended with bangers. Like, all these last few games just were new and looked phenomenal.
And nothing matched any of the supposed leaks that came out. So.
What was in the leaks?
I think this was the one where some people have some accurate people have gotten accurate stuff sometimes. This was supposed to be the one they were going to announce a God of War Greek remaster. This, because I think somebody had said it was supposed to be announced before December to March of this year, and so that's why somebody's like, this must be the one. But and the Greek saga. So,
and there was supposed to be at least a little bit from Kojima's Death Stranding 2 before.
But but I mean, that's getting
those were just like people, I guess, throwing that out there already, trying to put that out there in the atmosphere, wishing.
Yeah, leave it to Kojima to do his thing on South by Southwest, which is a movie festival. So. Which is only what the whole point of South by Southwest is, that they show unpurchased movies to major studios so they can purchase them and distribute them throughout the United States. So that's the whole point of that South by Southwest.
So, at a movie show.
Yes, yeah. That's basically what it is. So
that's where he wants to go anyway.
That's very
so.
him. That's very him. So.
Yeah, those last few games
And
just looked out of this world. I need to go. I need to try out Returnal. How many people? Is it just co-op, or how many people can play that Returnal?
I think they added a co-op.
Yeah, they added a co-op.
Is it just two though? Is the
they
thing?
updated?
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, when the character was talking about like dying over and over and enemies coming back stronger and stuff, and I was like, okay, this very much sounds like Returnal. Housemarque creates fantastic video games. I was about to say, what is not Supermassive, Supergiant, Super Studios, but they're doing Hades 2, right? I was thinking of Hades earlier.
Yes, Hades 2, I think is still in
early access.
Access. They haven't fully released the game yet, so I think you would imagine that game's probably going to come out at some point fully, if I remember correctly. Don't misquote me on it because I haven't been following Hades 2. I have to probably look that up rather quickly here. I think it is still in early access. So.
They also mentioned, it was not in this article, but they mentioned some updates for PlayStation Catalog and the Classics tier.
Hades 2 is still in early access. Yeah.
Have either of y'all played Hades? I don't know if I would like it. I think I own it for Steam.
I don't own it for one of these consoles,
raves
but I don't think
everybody raves about it.
But
I don't know
you know how I feel
Switch.
about Supergiant games. I love Supergiant games, so I've always partaken
Yeah.
by. So,
Brant, have you played much of it? Are you a fan?
No, I haven't played really any of it. I don't think. I need
Brant's
to.
like me. He's like I hear great things. I should put this in my pile to get to, and then the pile gets hidden behind.
That's all of us. Pile. We've bought 3 copies of it and have 0 hours in it.
It's
my MO.
Right? I just sat there and spent $15 for a Vita game called Time Travelers, where it gives me a phone I can dial the back. So I was like, "This is what I want to play."
You spent more for less. That's not bad. $15 is not bad.
I remember going on a website and be like, "What, level 5 made a game that fucks with time and it's called Time Travelers?" I was like, "I'm buying that shit." I bought it immediately. It's like I didn't even read the whole article. Yeah, I love me some time fuckery, man. That's my favorite.
And level 5. Friend of the show, Buish is taking a crack at Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch remastered for Xbox. It's on Xbox Game Pass.
Ni no Kuni is really good. I beat it on PS3.
I was like, he's like, I'm starting it now, and his kids were watching, and I was like, man, the game's amazing. Oliver's a great character. His mom's a great character. Just enjoy.
Ooh, just wait. Yeah.
No, he sent back within 5 minutes. He's like, awesome. She was on screen for 2 minutes and she's dead.
You should have messaged him back. Just
wait a little bit longer.
Just keep waiting. Just keep waiting. I put 50 hours into the game. She hasn't showed back up. Just keep waiting.
Where's Mom? Who am I looking for here? Mermy says boo booish. There it is. It's been Brant giving us the boo booish. Games.
Thank you, Mermy. That's what we all can
games played. I haven't played a shit ton because I feel like we just recorded not too long ago. Only game I'm really plugging away at is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm still with Aerith. Aerith is in my party, and I have gone to her house, and the house is like the same layout I remember from the PlayStation 1. I was like, oh, I know there's an upstairs in this location. I had a mission where I had to pick flowers for like the orphanage in the town. And it reminded me, because Cloud is bitching the whole time. He doesn't want to pick these flowers. He's like, this sucks. It's like that's in the language of the game. Like, this is amazing.
But Richard, you have to admit this version of Cloud is not as douchey as the 7 one.
He's not,
because the 7 one he was more like blunt. This one he's he's more expressive, and he's because he's always hesitant. He's like, and he just ends up warming up to it. You know what I mean?
Right, and a lot of that from the PS1 was a text box where he mouths off, right? And then you see Barrett, Barrett's fuming, or he's putting his arms up in the air, the way they had to do storytelling then. But it reminded me, and I meant to talk about it last week and I forgot, but the flower mission is similar to one in the first set of slums that Cloud takes on, in which you have to round up these cats, and you have to go around this town and find these cats and send them back to this kid. And each one he finds, like, he's just like, Oh my god, I hate this. He says stuff like that in the game, and it's me.
He does that a lot. Like, I hope this is the last
hard.
time. Yeah. He's always like, I hope this is the last time. You'll see more and more on there when he does this. I hope this is the last time.
He's picking flowers, and she's like, "Which ones do you?" And it makes you do it, right? That's the art of the storytelling in this game. It's like, Cloud, you have to pick the flowers. He does not give a shit, and you probably really don't either. But there's like multiples that you could choose from, and I put some time into it. I was like, well, if I do white ones here, I probably want to sprinkle in some yellow, and I see she's gonna do it one more time. So I you want to make it a good mix of flowers, right?
Yeah, get it a good.
Yeah,
going up
but
there,
Cloud's
right?
like, oh, this sucks. He's just saying it. It's so funny. It just kills me. And she is like super is it optimistic? What is her?
She's very sprightly.
She is extremely and just like happy and helpful, and she's a character, man. I love all these characters. They're just so well rounded and fleshed out in this remake. I've been another note I wanted to touch on as I'm playing. I'm trying to collect the music as I go places. The music, like the regular score of the game, is phenomenal. It's god tier. But there's certain areas where you can either discover or buy from the item shop, like jukebox songs, and they did this in Final Fantasy 16 too. But in 16, it was just songs that you would play back at the base, right? When Clive would go back to I think there's 2 major bases you essentially have in 16. And some of these renditions just aren't good. I'm buying them as like a collector thing because they're only like 50 gil each time I find one. But some of them are like, I just got the Costa del Sol one, and I know that melody forward and backwards, and I'm listening to it on the jukebox, and it's like, this is not that great. Like, if this was its own CD of stuff, I would not be purchasing this. So far, the ones I've heard, I would probably not be purchasing this like jukebox rendition. It's almost like remember OC Remix? It was like early internet. They would take songs that you loved from games.
Yeah, Del North did that a
really?
lot. Yeah, I got a couple of remixes from there before he started doing the game music and writing.
I didn't know that's how he got his start. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but some of those, I mean, y'all's experience with OC Remix, they were wildly varying in quality. Sometimes it was like, this is great, it's true to the source, I love these renditions, and sometimes it's just like, Chrono Trigger never belonged to having these types of arrangements. It doesn't fit in any way. And I feel like some of these jukebox ones have just been really bad. And I actually got confused in that first area. There's a chocobo one that you can get, where the chocobo like screams in the middle of it, and it sounds like a cat meowing. And as I was hunting for these fucking cats all over the slums, I would hear that off in the distance and like, is there one of the cats over here? But those are just, it's fully fleshed out, everything about this world. I passed through some areas of the slums with Aerith, and I would go adventuring, right? I would go off the main path where it's trying to tell me to go, and it would be almost arena areas. So I think my next bit of gameplay here is going to be dropping back to those areas and cleaning them out, maybe picking up missions for this town that I'm in with the orphanage. But it's phenomenal. I'm absolutely loving it. And playing on ROG Ally, a mix of I would say docked, because it almost gets like Switch dock benefits, but plugged in portably in the bed, and then just kind of out and about with battery. Still having great luck with that performance mode. Whatever those AMD drivers were pretty awesome as a fix. I think that's it. I think that's all Did we play Halo last weekend? Yeah, we got in some Halo. We got our asses handed to us.
Super League got in Super Husky, and then Super League got out of the Super Husky quickly. Since
we had some good runs.
That's the first round of Super Husky was fun, right? We had the whole bit where we were each holding each other's flag, right, for the whole round, and then just we blew it at the end when they did the chase.
It went into overtime, right? Or it was like the last 10 or 15 seconds?
It was the overtime, yeah, because that guy went up there and just slingshotted himself up there and just waited. Yep. So,
but that's it for me for games played this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add on to that. I mean, we just did 4 hours of Halo Infinite. and we had some very success. I think we didn't win a match until the 5th game probably. So after the first
Yeah,
hour,
Brant didn't join us until like
So-
the second or third one. I think you might have missed
Second
one
game.
round. Yeah, I think that was it.
he only missed he missed the one good Super Husky because after that, every one of them was a poopy
Yeah,
butthole after
pretty
that.
much.
So
It's still fun though. Like I was still having fun. It was just like, man, I'd like to win one of these.
well, it's good when they sprinkle in Super Husky, not like Super Husky and then Super Husky or Super Husky and then Tactical and then Super fucking Husky again. It's like it doesn't give us time to digest the utter destruction we had 2 matches ago.
Yeah, and we're all really solid with that one-shot mangler mode. We go off on that one pretty good.
But we did find out Richard's new favorite mode, which is mini.
Oh my
Slayer,
god, I
so.
forgot about that. We didn't think we loaded. It's going over and like showing where our character should be, and there's nobody there. We're like, what happened? It glitched out. But Mini Slayer's just like having a little
Action figure, yeah.
But the gun is still like fully rendered. You got the little tiny dude and the giant gun, and they're just running around and jumping and everything. It just was crazy. We won that one too, didn't we? Did we go off on the Mini Slayer?
Yeah.
We may have to do a stream of just Mini Slayer and get Buish on there again.
Mini Slayer's pretty. Yeah, we need Buish on the Mini Slayer.
That was chaos. I forgot about that. Good reminder.
Yeah.
Because we're like, what the hell is Mini Slayer?
Oh no, I made sure to load that one because I think I had to force load VIP, and then we finally did VIP previously, and I was like, I never got to Mini Slayer to load. And I remember we tied out on that one. You guys were like, "What the fuck's Mini Slayer?" Because we ended up now loading into it, and it just gave us
the draw, and we split the points and got some XP.
Yeah. And I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna disable everything. We're gonna do Mini Slayer." And then they loaded some in the next one. So
non-stop laughs. We were like,
yeah, it was pretty good.
We're like fleas with full-size guns jumping around.
So Mini Slayer, yeah, you load in and you just see the guns floating there, but you just see the top of the guns. You're like, what the hell is going on?
What's funny is like when you aim at the gun, you just see a giant gun going like this, not even the character. So everybody's just running around looking like
there'd be so many times it would just be the two of us, like me and somebody in a shootout, and it's just a gun pointing at me. It's like
I don't know how you're killing each other. Yeah, that's crazy.
So your characters are literally miniaturized. They're like, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches tall.
They're army men or action figures or something. Yeah.
But your weapons are still regular sized, and
I mean, y'all were laughing like the first
crazy.
3 minutes before
we were dying.
I was crying. Good shit.
Oh, God bless Mini Slayer. I dabble in some things. Nothing I want to really talk about because I didn't really spend much on there. I've been busy with stuff at home and stuff at work. I haven't had much time to play games, so I'll kick it over to Brant. So,
Mini Slayer. I'm trying to see what it started off in because we've been playing Halo a long time and never played that mode. It started back in Halo 4. So Halo 4 had all kind of crazy nonsense modes that
things.
If it's crazy and nonsensical, it's probably.
It seems like it, right? So. They really were firing on all cylinders on that one.
I'm assuming it was VIP also. Halo 4.
Look.
As Brant goes into his games played or acquired or whichever one.
Game type in Halo 3 and Halo Infinite. That started in 3. VIP did.
Okay.
I got some games acquired.
What did you acquire?
Yeah. So there was a sale on some of the Square Enix games. I have a Richard recommendation. Which I believe I purchased this or had this via PlayStation Plus, but I went ahead and bought the physical version on Switch. This is
good ass game.
Sea of Stars.
I still got to reach out to them about my Kickstarter copy. I never got it.
Never got it.
Yeah, you guys reminded me about that one.
And then I
just make sure you have your backer kit page filled out accurately.
Gotcha.
So,
and then I have a Cesar game.
Cesar recommendation.
Cesar recommendation.
Yeah.
Fantasian.
Ooh, I saw that.
Brando's double dip.
I thought about jumping. I saw it was on sale.
You see the hanging plastic because I had to open up, make sure it wasn't googly eyes in there.
Oh shit! I didn't do that with
googly eyes.
On the podcast.
Brandon might be googly. Show us those googly eyes live.
Googly eyes.
Did you win
Have people been having that
googly lottery?
Have people been having that issue with Amazon?
I haven't heard anything from Amazon yet, but I imagine it's only a matter of
time. What is it, Walmart and Target?
Walmart and Target. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No
It's
way.
there.
He's
It's
got
there.
the cartridge.
It's
Brand, I think that
And
plays really well on Switch if I remember right. I was playing on
It
Steam
should.
Deck because they gave us a free copy for Steam for Kickstarter. Yeah, I think it plays fine on Switch.
Yeah, I imagine it would. It's not a super intensive.
Strong Golden Sun and Chrono Trigger vibes. That was a good game. I need to go back to that one.
Yeah. I'm excited about you playing Fantasian. Fantasian is PS1 greatness.
Hell yeah. And then last
dioramas.
but not least, I'm probably gonna save this until more September, October time.
Nightmare Before Christmas on Xbox.
Might as well be. This is called Pumpkin
I don't
Jack.
have that. I need that game.
Yeah.
No, I heard
Looks like a
Pumpkin Jack was
cool,
really
like,
good.
3D action
Yeah.
game. And this was done by Limited Run. They did the physical edition. Game by Heads Up.
Richard's favorite
Head
FOMO
Up.
company.
It is a FOMO company. I think it plays Jack and Daxter-esque platforming. Brand, I think it'll be
That
up
would
your
be
alley.
perfect.
Yeah, I think
That
it'll
would
be up
be
your
absolutely
alley.
perfect. I know I looked at some gameplay and everything, and it looked like it was a pretty damn good game. So
There's a
Brand, leave it sealed and don't be disappointed until
Schrodinger's googly eyes. There's a demo on Steam, Brand, if you just want to mess around with it. I think that's how I played my bits of it. Play some Steam demo.
And then other than that, I'm like y'all. We played our Halo, and then really haven't had time to get into anything today,
I've been
or well,
working
in
since
the
then.
past
Yeah.
4 days, 5 days.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know Richard's going to announce it here. We're probably going to take next week off. So work has been killing me because there's a major stuff happening at my job next week that I've been spending so many hours this week getting ready for, and it's been eating up all my time. So
Yes, the bad news is no show next week, but the good news is Brand has agreed to stream a minimum of 2 hours every day next week.
I'll try.
in order
Yeah, I'll
to-
try
holy shit.
every day.
Holy
Good
shit.
lord.
I said what I said.
Every day Brand's
I said at
hustling.
least 2 hours.
Hustling.
No, maybe you can round up Rican and get some Halo in on the Saturdays.
I did tell Rican to reach out to friend of the show, Buish and Brant to possibly get some Halo. So.
And let me know, Brand, if you're not signed in on anything, if we need to fix that 2-factor before.
Take care of that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign in your Xbox
Yeah.
now.
Roll that out 100%.
Roll that wonderful.
All right, gents, is that it for us?
That's it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you 2 weeks from now. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.